China has an incentive to make it work, Rico, because, of course, no one can fail to have noticed with the international headlines this year, pollution is becoming a really serious problem. It's got so bad here in Beijing, some weeks you could cut it with a knife. Today, looking out of the window behind me, it's all too apparent. This scheme would work like other schemes around the world. Basically, companies would be given permits. The more cleaner companies would be able to sell their permits to dirtier companies. That would it would provide an incentive for clean technology, and the hope is over the long term reduce carbon emissions.
But carbon trading schemes elsewhere, John, have faltered, most recently with the near collapse of the carbon market in the EU. So what lessons can China learn from the European Union?
You're right, there have been problems elsewhere, and it's to do with pricing. In Europe, there's been an argument about the need to increase the cost of carbon. There have been political difficulties there. We don't know yet much of the fine details of this scheme in Shenzhen. We know that it will cover something like 600 or so companies there. They'll be responsible for around 40% of the city's total carbon emissions at present. So it's a sizable scheme, but I think you're right, the devil will be in those details about the kind of price that's set. Interestingly, this is a pilot. There are another 6 cities that are in the pipeline to also have their own carbon trading scheme, including Beijing. The point at the moment for China is that it's feeling its way. It's going to see if it can make it work in places like Shenzhen and here in Beijing before possibly moving to a national carbon trading scheme at some point over the next decade or so.